Hello and welcome back to Men in the Den. My name's Eric and it's Sunday and I am not exactly streaming. I am recording through YouTube because my internet decided to fuck off right now. I am back with Injera Challenge Part 2. I have started my TEF sourdough starter to make the injera. I need to get this up to a low medium heat. I'm gonna let that get started. But if you haven't seen part 1, it was fairly straightforward. I was grinding some teff seeds down into a flour in my Vitamix, and I had to mix that with water and let it sit tightly covered, over the last couple days so it could ferment. And in this heat, oh Jesus, it is fermenting really quickly. I probably should have made it yesterday, but I don't think it's killed anything over the last day. It's been bubbling away, and I'm going to take this rag off and release the things into this little pourable thing. So I'm going to set this camera down for just a second while I'm taking care of business over here. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing on the stove, on the side here. So, oh, it is very, very smelly. So I'm going to pour. Well, first of all, I'm going to stir this with my stirring spatula. I'm going to stir this up. Make sure I get all of the batter, because I want this batter in this pourable container so that I can pour it into this hot skillet, pan, and basically it's going to be like a big bready pancake thing, which is what injera is. So it cooked sourdough flatbread, which I did not know. I did not know that before I started doing this project, that this is exactly how this is made. So that's exciting. And there's just so much. You're supposed to do this in a bowl, but glass bowls, you know, we have all these jars laying around. I figured doing it in a jar would be fine. I'm going to keep scraping this out of here because I want to make sure that I get all of this out. Probably doing it in a bowl would have been a little bit better, but it is what it is. So, scraping, pushing down, getting all of that out. Now, the last thing that I need to do before I put this into the pan is to add a little bit of salt to this, which will help to kill a few things that have been living in this mix over the last day and a half, 2 days. But I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of nice and bubbly, this mix, which is the fermentation. Whenever you're fermenting stuff, you have to burp your jar, but because it's had a cloth top, the gases just kind of expelled, which made the kitchen smell a little sour, and I got a lot of kind of nasty looks from my husband. But you know what? This is a nice little experiment. So I'm just going to drop that down in there. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, boop, 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 in there, and then I'm going to stir this into the mix. Now, we have a skillet over a medium-low heat and a lid to that skillet because this is going to be poured out like pancake batter and then steamed on top. So I'm just going to scrape this thing down a little bit. It's a little grainy still, but I don't think that's a huge problem. I know that you're not able to see everything that's happening here. But, so this is our mix. We've got quite a bit in here. That's actually almost 4 cups. It's like 3.5 cups of batter, which is a lot. And then now, what we are going to do, I have my hot pan, my batter, and a rack to dry these on. to, you know, let them cool off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this camera up over on this side of the stove for now, and hopefully I'm not going to get too far away from things so you can see. It's hard to do this with like one hand, so forgive me for doing it all like so. But okay, so I'm going to pour this batter into the hot pan, and we want this to spread out, so I'm going to maneuver it around a little bit, but it is like a pancake batter, right? And we want it to kind of coax it around. And I've got some cooking spray on that. And then we're just going to let this steam. See, this is looking appropriate already. The first time I did it, it was super fucked up. It was absolutely wrong in every way. But this is looking like it's going to do just right. And I hope that the heat is not up too high. So what's going to happen is it's going to cook on the underside to create a nice flat bottom. And then the top part of the mix is going to get kind of bubbly, like pancakes bubble up. And the trapped steam inside of the pan will cook the top. So hopefully it's not too hot on the bottom of this thing. This is going to create a very dark looking one. A lot of the injera that you usually see in the Ethiopian markets is kind of mixed with wheat flour as well as teff. But this being full teff, it's going to come out fairly dark looking. So I also have my spatula here. My spatula, I'm going to be able to kind of scoop up underneath of this thing and hopefully be able to get underneath and around it. And I hope this does not come out as wholly and perforated as the previous mix did. But it's looking like it may be. But it's steaming away, and it is on a low heat. We want the underside of it to be darkened a little bit, but not too much. And we want the top of it to steam out and cook with the steam on top. So hopefully that is what happens. But much like crepes and pancakes, usually the first one kind of does fuck up a bit. So at least that's what I think will happen, because this is all an experiment for the first time. I have no idea if I'm doing this entirely correctly, but I think I am. I think that I am doing this correctly. So we shall see. Steaming out. And I don't want to lift the lid either until this is really kind of set. And you can still see that there's like little bits that are kind of crispening on the corners, on the edges, and the edges are starting to curl up a little bit. So I'm hoping that as the water drains off and steams up, that the interior of it cooks out as well. I know, it's like watching paint dry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm subjecting you to this a little bit here. But it's looking pretty good. Now, I don't want to necessarily lift this lid off too soon. But I also don't want it to burn. So I'm trying to find like the happy medium space where it's cooked enough, but not too much. Because I don't want it to be too much of a problem. Yeah, you can just see that steam rising. Okay, so this is supposed to take about 1 to 5 minutes to steam this thing up. But I can see some holes, but not necessarily the kind of bubbly bits that you would normally see on the top of injera, and that may be because it was not mixed with wheat flour. Ugh, I just wanna reach in and lift this lid off. Okay, let's do it. Let's see. It's like a pancake. It's definitely more pancakey than I would probably prefer. But let's see. Let's get underneath of it. You know what? Hey, there we go. That is a nice little piece of crepe. And, oh, there's the bubbly bit. Oh, it's on the other side. Okay, now I know. Okay, so now I'm going to do the rest of this mix. I'm going to spray down the pan with a little bit of this canola oil spray. I'm going to go through the rest of this batter and finish off my injera. So, haha! I made it happen! I made the thing happen. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, and I'll see you all next Friday. Cheers!